For being with him for so many years, it's amazing to see a kid from a man to a grown man.
They were going to announce this fight initially. DV allegations dropped. Tank was arrested and it was once again put in doubt.
The fight was cancelled on Monday after a civil lawsuit filed by ex-girlfriend Courtney Rozelle accused Davis of battery and aggravated battery.
Calvin Ford breaks down in tears on Live after hearing about Gervonta Davis's arrest. He reflects on their long road from the streets to championship success and says he watched Tank grow into a man. Ford's voice trembles as he admits how painful it is to see everything fall apart. The emotion overwhelms him as he realizes that the journey they once believed would never stop has now reached a heartbreaking end.
Crazy. That's why I said, yo, you can't write this, man. You cannot write this. My experience being gone, and all the stuff that I went through, preparing me for where I'm at today. You know, that Tank is over. He had the lessons, getting his lessons of what he got to do, take us the rest of the way. And this is his take us the rest of the way.
Gervonta Davis has faced many controversies throughout his career. Earlier this year he was accused of mistreatment by the mother of his children, but the case was later dropped. Soon after, another woman filed a separate lawsuit against him, which increased public attention on the fighter. Even though the first case was dismissed, these back-to-back legal issues affected his reputation and drew widespread focus. Many observers point out that personal problems often move into the public eye for high-profile athletes like Gervonta Davis. Even major success in the ring does not protect anyone from criticism or legal trouble. Situations involving legal or personal issues can quickly become headline topics and can influence reputation and career opportunities. Fans, analysts, and the boxing world often judge fighters not only by performance but also by personal behavior, so every action becomes open to scrutiny. For Davis, this shows that achievements alone cannot protect an athlete from the impact of public and legal exposure, and highlights the challenge of keeping both personal and professional integrity.
Never happened. The Paul camps still thought Tank is a big enough name regardless of his previous result to go ahead with this bout. But just as they were going to announce this fight initially, DV allegations dropped. Tank was arrested and it was once again put in doubt. Then the charges were dropped. A week later, they announced the event. So that kind of brings us to today. This event hasn't been smooth sailing so far, and it was almost destined that there would end up being a few more bumps in the road before we actually saw the two facing off. And about as big of a bump as you could really get has now hit the promotion. A civil suit has been filed against Tank, in which his ex-girlfriend accuses him of aggravated battery, false imprisonment, kidnapping, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. While it was also reported by ESPN that a report has been filed additionally with the Miami Gardens Police Department last Tuesday. However, as I'm recording this, there is yet to be any criminal charges. Now, these alleged incidents happened last month, which was after the announcement of the fight. You would think if you're Tank on the verge of the biggest payday he's ever gotten, he would be doing anything to stay out of trouble, yet he continues to find himself in negative situations again and again. But in saying all of this, everything at the moment is very much alleged, and I'm not really here to talk about the validity of these claims. What I am here to talk about though is the impact this might have on the boxing event in a couple weeks time. Now, Tank vs Paul, love or hate the idea of it, was definitely one of the most viewed fights of the year. Although there are rumors of there being poor ticket sales.
Roy Jones Jr. said that Gervonta Davis has been dealing with problems for a while and that the new lawsuit only adds more pressure. He explained that these issues arriving at the same time as the planned fight with Jake Paul created an extremely stressful moment for the young champion. Jones noted that people in the boxing world already knew about Davis's past difficulties, so the situation is not surprising but still has a strong effect. He added that the cancellation of the fight has made Davis's personal challenges even heavier, leaving him to face public criticism and the disappointment of losing a major opportunity.
Man, I really don't want to even have much to say about that, because everybody take it the bad way. But all I'm gonna say is this: Jake Paul knew what it was when he first signed the fight. This ain't the first time he had battery against a woman. You knew what it was when you first signed the fight. So don't get mad and cuss him out and talk bad about him now. You knew what it was when you signed up for it. Come on, bro. You know what I'm saying? Let's not do that. Nobody talk. I don't talk bad about him either. But don't do the dude like that. No, the dude having a hard time in his life right now. don't just do him like that. You know what I mean? Because you knew exactly what he was when you signed him to fight the first time. All I got to say.
Tank's team has kind of been bringing that, like, talking about just some of Jake's past, and more kind of said that Jake said he's actually afraid to fight Tank. I mean, do you think it leaned a little more on that side, and they're just selling it the other way?
I already know what it is. Like I said, I already know. I'll get into it, but we all know when young guys go through issues.
Jake Paul shared his view on the situation involving Gervonta Davis. According to Paul, Davis was fully sober and clearly aware of what he was doing during the incident. He suggested that there was no attempt to avoid responsibility by blaming intoxication. Paul's account presents his own interpretation, describing Davis as fully accountable while also pointing to the pressures he faces behind the scenes. By speaking about this publicly, Paul gives fans and observers a look into what he believes Davis was thinking at the time. However, these claims are personal statements and not legally verified. While Paul's remarks may spark speculation, they also show the intense scrutiny high-profile fighters like Davis experience, where every action can be closely examined and widely shared. Overall, his comments highlight the ongoing tension between personal struggles and public judgment in professional boxing.
And he shared a story about Jake Paul, about Gervonta, and he said, look, Aiden, it was 4:15 in the morning. It was 4 o'clock in the morning. Gervonta Davis was sober. He got sober into a car and drove out there at that hour to do this. This guy is extra bad. Let me repeat that. Let me repeat that. Jake Paul said that Gervonta Davis left his house sober and went to Tootsie's nightclub sober. I just want you to put your common sense hat on. How in the world would he know that? Does Jake Paul talk to Gervonta Davis? Did Gervonta Davis tell Jake Paul, I was sober when I left the house? Did Jake Paul have a camera in Gervonta Davis's car? Did he have a breathalyzer in Gervonta Davis's car? Did Jake Paul get toxicology reports from 3 days ago from Gervonta Davis? I am just curious as to how in the world Jake could possibly know that Gervonta Davis was sober. Let me tell you for sure, I will have a drink now and then. If I take a couple shots of vodka and I walk out the house, I'm a little buzzed. Sometimes my wife doesn't even know. How do you know, Jake? The answer is you do not. You are just trying to add something to the story to make Gervonta look worse.
Coach Kenny shared a detailed view on Gervonta Davis's career, highlighting the challenges that come with reaching the top of professional boxing. He pointed out that every elite fighter faces intense pressure, scrutiny, and obstacles both in and out of the ring. According to Kenny, these difficulties are not signs of failure but natural parts of the journey for athletes performing at the highest level. He emphasized that even setbacks like legal issues or public controversies do not erase the countless hours of training, discipline, and dedication Davis has put in over the years. Kenny's perspective shows that reaching peak performance is rarely smooth and is shaped by both wins and struggles. He reminded people that adversity tests character and requires resilience and focus to overcome. While these challenges may temporarily affect a fighter's momentum or public image, they do not diminish the skill and effort that built their success. In Davis's case, Kenny suggests that perseverance, consistent work, and determination remain key to his journey despite the obstacles he currently faces.
There becomes a love and hate with this sport, when you're in it, right?
I think fighters have always loved the sport itself. It's the bullshit that comes with it behind the scenes, dishonesty and shit like that. That should get on my nerve.
Yeah.
Not saying that's what Tank's situation is, just the sport period. I'm speaking on the sport, man. If people would be honest and jokers really take fights like they said they would, but behind the scene they not taking the fight, but on social media they gonna take the fight. It's a bunch of bullshit, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's the shit that I don't like about the sport. And the promoters need to come together, man, and let the guys fight. Problem is, you need a fighter to carry each promotional company. The promotional company don't want to put their man in there with no real fighters because their company gonna flop. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So they won't let. That's why the big fights ain't having it. Fighters can take a loss and still keep on taking that. All this new generation shit is crazy. I've seen guys with 10 losses.
Following the legal issues, Jake Paul officially canceled the exhibition match against Gervonta Davis. In his letter, Paul stated that Davis seemed disinterested in the fight, showing frustration and a lack of focus. He mentioned that Davis displayed visible tantrums and took little part in the preparation process. The cancellation highlighted how the lawsuit affected Davis's professional commitments, showing that personal problems can directly impact career opportunities. Observers note that this situation emphasizes the careful balance athletes must keep between personal life and professional responsibilities, as distractions can quickly lead to missed opportunities in high-profile events.
You know, I don't know if it's true what they said. I just know that they were saying he was showing up late to promo shoots, and he was, you know, just being a diva, just being a difficult person to work with. And the thing I always tell anybody, and I don't care what age you are, whenever you're working with somebody, when you're on a set, you know, when you're in a corporation, whatever it is, the thing that will keep money in your pocket and always keep you working is when those individuals say, that person is a pleasure to work with. When they say you're a pleasure to work with, I promise you, you will always get phone calls. That's why I walk in the room. It's just my nature anyway, because, you know, just the way my anxiety's set up, I need to know who's who. So I speak to everybody. I look in everybody's eyes. I'm really observing to make sure I don't see anything bulging in any places where there might be pistols or anything else. But I'm saying hi to everyone. I speak to everybody in the room. I speak to everybody when I leave. I'm polite because I used to sell crack and work at Taco Bell, and I understand how much of a blessing it is to be in these positions. There's no way that I'm going to be, you know, getting tens of millions of dollars like Gervonta Davis is and be acting like a diva. And I'm not saying he was, I'm just saying if the rumors are true, you know what I mean? If the rumors are true, because that's what I was told. And, you know, I heard they were just looking for a reason to part ways. So,
I mean, that's a good reason. I think he has a good point too. It's just like, you know, he built his platform a lot, or Jake, on female fighters.
Absolutely.
So maybe he should support Gervonta because he supports the beating of women.
Yeah, but not by other genders.
Also, I got it.
And also, too, maybe Tank isn't used to
Nobody is paid.
Former boxer Paulie Malignaggi criticized Jake Paul's approach, saying that the controversies around Gervonta Davis were already well known in the boxing world. Malignaggi argued that Paul acted as if these issues were suddenly new, when in fact Davis's past behavior had been public for years. He pointed to multiple examples and video evidence showing questionable actions, noting that both fans and professionals were already aware. This criticism highlights that Davis's reputation has developed over time and that anyone working with him should have expected potential challenges.
I don't know. It's like damn if you do, damn if you don't. He had already had this history. He's trying to be better, and this is something that had already happened in the past, right? I mean, this was already known when they signed.
Yeah, he wasn't arrested.
He did this prior to this being signed, so you already knew this happened. It was regurgitated as a civil suit, but it was already something that everybody knew had happened in the past. So it's not like something new happened after he signed the fight. So that's what I don't understand, and that's why I don't want to see that. You know, I don't want to see that the kids still lose out on it that way for that reason. Because I don't know, to me it doesn't add up. You know, it already happened. You knew it happened, and you made the fight anyway. So now, based on something you already knew happened, now you're just saying, "Oh no, because this happened, we're not going to do the fight." But you knew already in the first place.
Yeah, the history was already there.
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
And for this particular situation, by the way, mind you, the girl now is coming with a civil suit.
Yes.
She probably saw that he signed the Jake Paul fight, and you know, the Jake Paul exhibition. Now he's going to make more money. You know, let's sue him. You should have let him get the payday first if that was what you were after, at least in the first place. Because, yeah, he's made money in the past, but he's not going to get that payday now. Obviously, the reason you set the civil... There's obviously a reason why the civil suit comes now of all times. His name's in the headlines for the Jake Paul fight. So this Momo thinks that the money's already in the bank. It's not in the bank until you do the show, and now the show's off. So if that's what you were after... You cut your own possible winnings and fractionalize them.
Right, and when we're looking at now is, it looks like Netflix has moved on. They want a different opponent. The problem is, Paulie, and we have a list, of course, Boxing Scene today, Lance Pugmire doing a list of possible replacements. Paulie, before we get into the actual names, what kind of person would take this fight? They're saying it would be delayed maybe to December, but this idea that are you already in shape? Is it a fighter who's not in shape right now? Is it someone getting ready for a fight? Well, but you want him beatable, but not gonna embarrass Jake Paul.
But sellable enough, marketable enough. Listen, Jake is very good at. I always say Jake doesn't set up fights, but he stacks the deck. There's a difference. You can't blame Jake for. Personally, me. And everybody thinks these fights are set up. I've never thought they were set up. The way I read the situation is the deck is stacked enough where Jake hedges himself in and he's able to win. This is an exhibition, so you don't have to do that. I mean, granted, maybe the replacement becomes a real fight. I don't know. That's something to consider. Maybe this becomes more interesting if it's a real fight. If it's a guy he gets and it's a real fight, I guess.
With the fight canceled, attention has turned to possible replacements. Speculation suggests that Jake Paul could face a new opponent, with names like KSI being mentioned as options. The focus on alternative matchups shows how quickly plans can shift in combat sports when legal or personal issues arise. Fans are following these updates closely, as replacing Davis not only changes the event but also raises questions about the future impact on his career. The situation demonstrates how one athlete's challenges can affect the wider industry, influencing schedules, promotions, and public interest.
November 14th in an exhibition bout at the Cancellation Center in Miami before the fight was canceled on Monday after a civil lawsuit filed by ex-girlfriend Courtney Rozelle accused Davis of battery and aggravated battery, among other things. Had the fight happened, Davis would have been the 7th person on Paul's list of 12 desired opponents, a list that also included Conor McGregor, KSI, Canelo Alvarez, Kamaru Usman, and Paul's older brother Logan. I forgot that Usman was on the fucking list, dude. I forgot that he was like, yeah, let me get a piece of Kamaru Usman in boxing. Oh, okay. To date, he has fought Anisan Gibb, Robinson, Askren, Tyron Woodley twice, Nate Diaz, and Tommy Fury from the list. Paul has also had victories over former UFC fighters Anderson Silva, Mike Perry, and boxers like Andre August, Ryan Borland, Mike Tyson, and Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. With the Davis fight off, most of the names on the list crossed off, it's time for a new set of goals for Paul. So here's the new hit list. Oh God, I see number one.
During the Ariel Helwani show, commentators discussed the serious effect of Davis's latest lawsuit on his public image. Analysts pointed out that this new legal issue came just 2 months after another case, indicating a pattern of ongoing personal problems. The panel explained how repeated incidents can cause lasting damage, affecting not only a fighter's career but also personal relationships. They emphasized that such situations create a perception of instability, showing that top athletes must manage their behavior both in and out of the ring. The discussion concluded that repeated controversies can slow career progress and harm a fighter's reputation.
Battery, false imprisonment, kidnapping, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. Lawsuit comes 2 months after Davis's previous domestic violence case was dropped by a different ex-girlfriend and the mother of 2 of the boxer's 3 children. I just think MVP is in the business of being the home of women, right? At this point, like, that's a huge part of their identity. What is their identity? It's Jake Paul and women's boxing. That's their identity right now. And they've done a phenomenal job for the women. And so how, with these allegations lingering and now coming to light 2 weeks before, how can you go through with it? And it sounds like they feel the same way.
All right, everyone, stay updated with the latest boxing news, highlights, events, and stories. Subscribe to Boxing Glory and turn on notifications so you never miss a moment. Don't forget to check out our other videos. Until next time, take care and peace.